Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to do a 3-year review of our 2020 Winnebago View 24D floor plan. Now, when I was doing my research before I purchased this, I didn't see too many videos out there except, of course, the sales videos. So in today's video, I'm going to go over a review of what I like, don't like, and what has worked out well for us, and what I like changed in the future. With that said, this is likely going to be our last year with this motorhome. My kids have grown much faster than anticipated, and I think we need to move on to something a little bit bigger here soon. But let's jump right into it. The thing that attracted me right away is the design overall. I think Winnebago did a great job of putting a nice aerodynamic package together with this overhead bunk. So that attracted me right away. And then the paint scheme. I do really like this paint scheme. If I had to make any changes to the paint scheme, I think for a motorhome of this price point, Winnebago doesn't really give you too many options. I think there's only like 2-3 paint schemes to choose from. So that's the one thing I would like to change. Let's jump on down here. On this door, I think I've done enough videos on this door, but if I had to make any change, I know Winnebago makes a lot of components in-house. They manufacture a lot of the components, but on this door particularly, they don't make this door. And if I had to make any change, I think they should do a door in-house. I think they'd have a lot less warranty issues. And I'd like to see this door change in the future. Talking about doors, let's talk about these baggage compartment doors. The things that I don't like about Winnebago is that their baggage compartment doors open up. And it's really hard to get inside those storage compartments. You know, if you look at the competition, most of the doors, baggage doors these days, open up to the side. And it makes it easier to get in the storage compartment. And I think that's a change that they need to make, because pretty much all their competition is doing that. And from experience, the side opening doors are much easier to get into. The thing that I do like, that Winnebago is one of the few, or if not only on the Sprinter chassis, is they have that full pass-through. Really hard to see without the lighting inside, but you can see I have these fishing poles that go all the way across, and I think Winnebago did a pretty good job. If I had to make a change, is they put their inverter location here, and it does make almost 1/3 of the full pass-through pretty tough to get to, so they should relocate that inverter to a different location. The other thing I would change are these single pane windows. It's great that Winnebago does provide the dual pane window option, but for these particular single pane windows, now this is the slider type. These slider types don't work out the best, because if you can look at it really closely, these weather seals here, they shrink up over time, and you have to replace those weather seals. And of course, it doesn't look as good either. All the competition pretty much has the awning style windows where all the seals sit inside the window, just like this one that they put on up in this overhead bunk. They should use that same style of windows here. Of course, you're not going to get as good airflow, but you know what? There's always a trade-off, and I think they should provide that as an option. Jumping back here, let's look at this. This is where the diesel generator is. I think I made enough complaints on this diesel generator. This diesel generator is very loud, and I think they need to make some changes on this. Even though it's called a quiet diesel generator, it's extremely loud, and they just need to provide more soundproofing up front. I do like having the diesel option more than the propane, but the noise with this diesel generator is totally unacceptable. Now, the Truma water heater, I don't think you'll ever hear too many bad things about the Truma water heater. We really like it. We like the recirculating feature. If I had to make any changes, now there's the Truma water heater and then there's the furnace. Truma does make a combi unit that runs on diesel, so it operates both your hot water and your furnace. And it would be nice to have that option. I know some manufacturers have that, and I think that'd be a great option to have. Jumping back to this storage back here, on the 24D floor plan, this storage is pretty nice to have. We utilize it quite a bit, so this storage is nice to have. This, again, the only difference is I think they should have the side opening doors. let's jump on to the front. Now, on the Mercedes chassis itself, if you do any kind of research online, I think you will see a lot of fear factor on getting the Mercedes chassis. And I've seen stories of all types, from horror stories to absolutely people loving it. When I got it, I was a little bit worried that maybe the Mercedes was going to be a lot more expensive to maintain. But actually, maintenance on this has been, we'll call it, pretty reasonable. And getting service on it has been really easy. I don't think I've had any appointment that took more than a week to get. I think it is dependent on where you live, but the other RVs, like on the Ford Transit, I think they make it sound like you can stop at any Ford dealership that you want, and that is very well not the case. Anytime it gets to this heavier motorhome, you have to get into a facility that has the tall doors as well as lifts that can actually lift the RV up. So on the Mercedes side, we've had absolutely no issues. We've been actually pretty happy. The only thing I'm not happy with is the suspension mods that it's required. I can't blame it on Mercedes exactly. I think it's a combination of Mercedes and Winnebago. You know, they're putting a pretty heavy box on this. So I think one of those two manufacturers should provide some beefier suspension up front so the end user doesn't have to put in all these modifications to make it handle well. Let's go on over to the other side. Just like the other side, these baggage compartment doors should also open up sideways. It's really hard to get underneath those compartments, especially with the slide out. If I had to change anything else, this gravity fill on the upper end motorhomes, they usually don't use the gravity fills anymore, as well as the vent. Usually the vent comes out through the bottom, so it'd just be another opening on the side of the RV that is totally unnecessary. You could fill in with the winterizing kit from your wet bay compartment instead of the gravity fill. And just like my Camping in Winter series, I think they should insulate or provide an insulated box here. That way you could truly use this for winter camping. Continuing on from the outside, now when I mentioned about the Mercedes Sprinter, here's the shot of the cab itself. I will say this cab is very comfortable, has plenty of headspace, so if you're really tall, you'll have no issues. The width is really good. The seats are comfortable, and all the positions of all the gauges and controls are very ergonomically friendly. So I'm very happy with the layout of the Mercedes itself. So let's continue on to the inside here. The overhead cab, it is pretty useful. You know, the headroom is pretty small even for kids. I think if that was one improvement, they should probably make the headroom a little bit more. Of course, it's going to make the exterior of the RV a little bit taller, but it would make this overhead cab a little more functional. Now this fan here, I don't know if they've changed this in 2023, but it's only has an exhaust function. The remote control does have the button for reverse, but it does not work. It actually acts like it's going to spin backwards and bring air in, but it does not. You know, there's obviously a modification for that, but hopefully they change that in 2023. Let's talk about this countertop here. Now this countertop here is, I think I've seen some videos where they say this is a synthetic countertop, but it's just a laminate countertop. It's plastic laminate, and it's sandwiched in between foam, just like almost like your exterior wall without any metal framing. The bad part about that is if you look underneath the sink, you can actually see a sandwich layer of where the foam is exposed, and it just has a laminate on the top and the bottom. But this top mount sink here, I'd like to see some changes on this. Number one, you know, they have the center bar. I think the center bar is totally useless. They should get a sink. It is nice to have that big, wide sink, but they should get one without the center bar. There's plenty of sinks out there. And then two, of course, it'd be nice to get an undermount sink. Without that undermount sink, just the top mount sink like this, water has a tendency to go everywhere. I don't know if there's a solution. You know, they may be able to put some edge banding on the inside to still do an undermount sink. I think they went with this composite type counter to keep the weight down, of course, but I'd sacrifice the weight and actually have a solid surface counter or whatever method, just so you can have an undermount sink. I've mentioned in my previous videos, I think this combination of an induction and propane burner, this is pretty good. The only thing I don't like about this propane burner is it doesn't get very hot, and it doesn't get very, we'll call it, on the low setting. You can't really simmer on this one, so the control of the propane is not very practical on this. I have seen other manufacturers switch to that dual induction range. I think I'd rather have that and have a portable propane burner when I need it, and use the induction more if you have enough battery capacity. This brand convection microwave is not very strong. Now the overall cabinets themselves, it is a pretty soft wood. So the only thing, even though I do like the size, and I'm sure they did this to reduce the weight, but I wish they would use better screws. It seems all the screws that come from the factory, now I've changed all mine out, but all the screws that come with the factory, they're pretty small and they strip really easy. And I think they need to utilize basically screws with bigger threads to keep that wood in better. If you've seen my previous videos, I have put in soft close on everything, and just like these upper cabinets, I think other RVs of this price point, they all have soft close, so they should offer this soft close function from the factory. Now these upper cabinets, they're nice and large, but one thing that I think I would like to see, it would be nice, is because they are so tall, it would be nice to have a shelf on here, because most items that you put in here, you know, they only go about halfway. Sometimes, you know, you'll have some taller items, but it makes half the volume of the cabinet itself useless. It'd be nice if they had some shelves from the beginning. And aside from the shelves that go across, I think it'd be nice if they put a little lip on here so things don't slide out of here. And a lot of cabinets have this little lip, we'll call it little raised lip in the front, so things don't slide out. I think pretty much every one of these upper cabinets could use that little lip. This dinette we do like, especially if you have a family. You know, we have 2 kids, so it's nice to have extra seating. If I had to make any changes, you know, anytime you get into a U-shaped dinette, it looks really good on paper and on video. But if you ever tried to sit 4 adults in here, when you turn that, we'll call it on the U side, you know, the legs have a tendency to touch. And I think what I'd rather see is where they have the bench, just make the bench wider, get rid of the U shape where you can fit, I'll call it 3 adults uncomfortably and 2 adults comfortably. So you can still fit 6 if you had to, but I think that would be a better use of space instead of these I'll call them these flip up counters. You just need this bench to be a little bit longer, and you can practically fit 3 people on there. Like I said, 3 people uncomfortably and maybe 2 people comfortably, but that would be an overall better use of space than this U shape. Some other items I think this dinette could really use are some cup holders, you know, the recessed cup holders. If you look at some tables, they have that little recess where you can put a water bottle or some type of cup in. That'd be really nice. Or they could mount something over here. But when you're going down the road, you know, the kids, they always have some type of drinks or whatever. It'd be nice if they had a place to set their drinks. Now, jumping to the TV, I believe still to this day, they still put that generic brand TV in there. Again, at the price point of this RV, they should put some type of smart TV in there. Besides putting in a smart TV, I think everyone has felt the pain. You know, these TV cabinets are, you can open them, but you have to basically jerk on them to open them, and it's a pain in the butt to get these clips. And every time you yank it open, it always feels like it's going to fall off. I think I could probably make something. I just haven't gotten around to it, but they could probably make something to make that area easier to open up. Same thing with the paper towel dispenser. It is nice to have it back here. It looks really good on video, but taking this paper towel dispenser out, I think that's like a knuckle buster. Each time you have to take it out, you basically have to yank on this really hard. I'm sure somebody else has found a way to modify that, but I haven't done that yet. But again, it looks great on video, but to physically change out the paper towel roll, it is very difficult, and I think somebody could come up with something better than what they have there. Going back to this refrigerator, I think this refrigerator has turned out really well. I'm very happy with this compressor type of refrigerator. You know, it is 12 volt compressor refrigerator. It does draw more power than the propane refrigerator, but at least it keeps the temperature of your food consistent, and it works really well. I live in the desert, and this refrigerator has not let me down at all. So we're really happy with that. I think they should stick with the compressor technology. Jumping up to the solar controller, I think they need to get with the program and get rid of these PWM controllers and put in an MPPT controller. The problem with this controller is the way they have this positioned, it's not a very easy swap to put in the better controller. So it would be nice if they actually put the better controller up front from the factory. And another item, this one place is absolutely useless. The tanks, on the water side anyways, it only reads in 1/3 increments. This one place is absolutely useless. If you looked at my other videos, you'll see I put in this sea level gauges where it reads everything in the 1% increments, but they should have this type of gauges from the factory. Now I have the 24D floor plan, which is the Murphy bed floor plan, and it is nice. This Murphy bed, you know, this is in couch mode right now, but it does provide a lot of seating. Let me step back here. It provides absolutely an amazing amount of seating for such a small motorhome. Now, it takes away from having a fixed bed, of course. I do miss having a fixed bed. But if you want to entertain in a small motorhome, this is probably one of the best floor plans that are out there to have that additional seating. I guess if I had to make any change, when it's down in bed mode, sometimes you still need to get some stuff under the couch because, of course, the couch is storage. It would be nice if they had an actual panel here where you could flip down so you can still get to the storage if necessary. Otherwise, if you do have something important in here and you have it down on bed mode, the only way to get to it again is putting the bed back up. Going back to the bathroom here. Now this bathroom for this size of motorhome, it's pretty good. You know, the toilet is awful close in front of this wall here. And then, of course, getting out of the shower, it's pretty tough not to touch the toilet when you get out of the shower to dry off. So if they could scoot this toilet back, you can see how much room is in the back. But they'd have to do some modifications to the back. But if they could scoot that toilet back a few inches, that would allow a little bit more space in the front here. Besides the toilet, the other item that I think they should change is, if you've looked at one of my previous videos, is the fan in the bathroom. Now this is my own fan that I put in, but if you look at the factory fan, it has just an on and off setting only. And if you really look at it close, even if you look at it in the closed position, it's actually open air to the outside. And I ended up putting one of these Max Air fans in that matches the front, and of course with a remote control. Inside the closet, I don't have much to change. Now I used to have a motion sensor light up on top, but I moved it down here because it kept falling. I put one of these shelves here. You know, the closet is pretty tall and you can hang some things, but back in this corner, I think it'd be nice to have some shelving from the factory. Otherwise, the upper section of the closet is almost useless. The only other thing I would change is back here. Same thing as the front, is this sink and this countertop. They really need an undermount sink because if you want to wash your face or anything, water always splashes throughout the countertop. So I think that is one change they need to make. And going back into the pantry, I still don't know if they've made this change yet, but on this pantry here, you know, they have these drawers here that slide in and out and they can smash into your door. So they either need to change these drawer slides to soft close, or they need to mount these drawers further forward so they don't have too much play and slam into your door. And if you've watched my previous video, I have put in the soft close feature on that door as well. And finally, let's look at this battery compartment here. You don't see this being opened up very often, but it's in the stairwell. And let me see if I can get this opened up. Compartment. Let me get some lighting in here. Now this battery compartment here, I have the Lithionics battery option. So with the Lithionics lithium battery option, they put in a sealed metal battery compartment. So that's nice. If you don't get that lithium option, this battery compartment here is actually open to down below. You can see I've actually put some foam in here so the daylight doesn't go on both sides. It is nice to have a sealed battery compartment. If I had to make a change here, I think what they could do, and it's physically possible, is put a battery box that is actually deeper. So you can put 4 of these batteries in here. I know price is a premium on these lithium batteries, so they could just offer 2, but at least there'll be a space for more. And that's the issue I have, is I'd like to upgrade my lithium package to basically have 4 batteries, but I just don't have the space for it, or easy space for it. It'd be nice if that battery box was big enough from the factory. Now, if you don't have this lithium option from the factory, and you just got the plain old AGM batteries, you can buy this, instead of fabricating your own, you can buy this battery box directly from Winnebago, and it just drops right in. So that's something you may want to consider. Well, that is my 3-year review of this Winnebago 24D. Overall, it has suited us really well. The only thing that's really truly missing for us is that I wish we had a separate bedroom area. Now, to get that, of course, it's going to come with a great sacrifice. We're going to have to get an RV longer. And we are very happy with this 25.5-foot RV because it has gotten us into many more places than our bigger RV ever has. So in the last 3 years, we have gone into many more trips, more impulsive trips that requires less planning. And of course, you get the better fuel efficiency just because it's a smaller RV. And that's really it. That's my 3-year review. So if you're looking for anything like this Winnebago 24D floor plan, hopefully this helps out. There are issues just like any other RV. You know, most of mine have been, for the most part, cosmetic and definitely quality control. But even though the RV is fragile, it has held up pretty well. You know, I put a little over 40,000 miles on this, and it pretty much looks brand new still. So I can't complain that much, even though I do like to do my little whining on videos. It has served its purpose. You know, there's some things that the manufacturers could improve, and I think that's for any manufacturer, but that's my 3-year review. Hopefully you enjoyed videos like this. Just like I said at the beginning of the video, I think this is probably going to be my last year in this RV. We'll see. I haven't decided if I'm going to put it up for sale or anything like that. I haven't actually even found my next RV yet. So that's my 3-year review. So if you're looking for anything like this, hopefully this video helped you out. But I do have more videos coming up. I have filmed a bunch of other videos that I just have not edited yet. So hopefully I can get to those. And if you haven't subscribed and made it this far, please hit that subscribe button and click that thumbs up. And we'll see you on the next video.